I'd never been around anybody in a wheelchair. I'd never even touched a wheelchair before. I'm not any different than anyone else. I don't know how to act. I don't think about anything special when I wake up in the morning. I like to look at the pear tree outside my window. And I might wonder if Jean will be in a good mood today. Or I wonder what the weather will be like.
Morning, Raj. Awake early.
So are you. You're always up early.
What do you want to wear today, Raj?
I'm 27 years old, and I've lived paralyzed and dependent for the past 6 years. It had seemed like I'd get used to someone dressing me. I never get used to it. It's made me grow up a lot, getting over the funny feelings of having someone dress me and wash me and see me that vulnerable. At first, it was all I could think about. My mind still does funny things with it, just not as many funny things. I think, how would I feel if I were an attendant having to help somebody and be that close to them and touch them and smell their sweat? It's almost like being married. I think about what a grown-up attitude they're going at it with. And so I watch them and I make sure that they're okay with it. I try to be as light about it as possible. Every now and then my leg spasms. And people think it's a pretty weird thing for me to be doing, sitting here shaking my leg as if I'm doing it on purpose. I'd feel good about the spasms if it wasn't for feeling so self-conscious about them. Really, they're good because they increase my circulation. I've had my legs spasm under tables so much that they've knocked water glasses over.
Okay. You want to roll your sleeves up, Raj?
Looks like it's pretty windy out. Somebody in a wheelchair is much more visible. Things about them just seem to stand out more, like it's real hard to look good in a wheelchair. A person who's standing up and moving around, they can look good in the most casual clothes. If I wore grubby jeans and a flannel shirt with a tear in it, I'd look real pitiful. Although I like wearing those kind of clothes sometimes and looking pitiful anyway. One thing about my wardrobe, though, is the shoes. Shoes just seem to last longer. Like these are the same shoes I was wearing 6 years ago in my accident. The soles are almost brand new. It takes me a half an hour to take a shower in the morning. And it takes me about an hour to get dressed. I was thinking about that this morning, how the average person could just crawl out of bed and go get breakfast or hop in the shower and be out in 5 minutes and they'd be ready for their day in 15, while I'm still in the shower. It's easy to just sit in a chair and to not try to do anything. It's only the person who does things who makes mistakes. I think the biggest mistake of all, though, would be to just do nothing and to just sit there. At first, I just sat there. I wouldn't try to feed myself or to wash my face or comb my hair. After living a normal life, and then all of a sudden finding myself in a wheelchair after the car accident, I just didn't want to put every ounce of energy and concentration into simply brushing my teeth or just picking something up. At first, I could hardly lift up my arm. I had to start with ounce weights, and it took months just to be able to lift a pound. It was a real breakthrough for me when I ate an entire bag of potato chips by myself, picking each one of them up. It was good practice and it was good exercise, although I felt sick after eating all of them. I'm about to leave in about 10 minutes.
That's plenty of time. Thought I'd make some of that stew tonight. You know, where I clean out the ice box, throw everything together.
Oh, no. Well, I wanted to tell you I was going to be a little late coming home for dinner. And the more I think about it, I might not even make it.
What time will you be home?
Probably about 7.
Supper will be ready. When I'm in a crowd, some people look at me and others look away. When people look away, I feel compassion for them. They may think that I'm strange or weird or something, or that I must deserve this. So they don't want much to do with me. I might think about this for a second, and I get self-conscious. But then all of a sudden, it turns around again to where my heart goes out to them. I just wish they could see me as just being normal. As far as deserving it goes, I've done things wrong and I've done things right. I have my ideas why this happened, and everyone else has their ideas, but they're just ideas, and ultimately nobody knows. What I'm doing is getting along in life. I love my life and I like who I am.
Not at all clear that x squared plus y squared equals r squared is anything more than an interesting quadratic equation until you graph it and see that it in fact gives
For some strange reason, I like math. It requires discipline and initiative, and those are two of the qualities of the person I think I'd like to be. I'd like to teach high school math. Actually, I want to teach more than just math. I want to teach what it means to be a human being, including qualities like honesty and sharing yourself and participating, even when it looks like it's hard or that you can't.
Are there any questions about any of that?
Yeah, could you explain again how the function approaches infinity as a high school math teacher? I'd be a real sitting duck. I'd be real easy to take advantage of. I'm not afraid of that, though. It's a chance that I'll take, and I'm counting on my vulnerability and my trust in the students to bring out the best in them. I'm aiming to be the most in-demand math teacher in the state. The human body can be compared to an electrical circuit, like the lights in this room. They'll run as long as
there's a complete circuit, but if there's a break anywhere in that circuit, like the switch being turned off, then the lights won't work. And the body works the same way. It's dependent upon the completeness of its own electrical circuit. And if there's a break anywhere in that circuit, like a spinal cord injury, then parts of the body won't work. Now the spinal cord comes off the brain and runs down through the center of the vertebrae and the backbone, and then the nerves branch off of it and go throughout the body. When the spinal cord's damaged, that portion fills up with scar tissue, and nerve impulses can't pass through that, and that's what causes the paralysis. Wherever the level of the injury to the spinal cord is, that'll determine the amount of the body that will be affected. Like if there's an injury down here in the lower back, then the body below that point will be affected, but everything above that point will be normal. Now I injured my spinal cord up here in my neck, and I'm paralyzed from the chest down. And that means that I can't move and I can't feel down here. And that happened 6 years ago in an auto accident. I was riding with a group of friends in the snow up on Mount Hood, and we hit some ice and slid off the road and tumbled down the hill. And I broke my neck and severed my spinal cord. Then I spent 3 months in the hospital, and after that I went to the Rehabilitation Institute of Oregon. I spent 6 months there learning how to live and how to take care of my body, and learning what to expect in life with my new condition, my new circumstances. And while I was there, I was with a lot of discouraged and defeated people, and I experienced a lot of that defeat myself. And I watched a lot of relationships between these people and their spouses and lovers deteriorate, as well as my own marriage deteriorating. And so it was real easy for me to assume the attitude that not only were relationships no longer possible in my life, but that life didn't have much to offer me anymore in my condition. And matter of fact, while I was still there, I had a chance with at a relationship with a woman, and when it came to becoming physically intimate, I was so face to face with my limitations, and I was so certain that the relationship could not work, that I became so scared, and I just bailed out and I quit the relationship. And that type of attitude showed up in all kinds of ways in my life, like simply going back out into society. At first, I was so afraid and so self-conscious of being in a wheelchair that I couldn't even go shopping, or I was too scared to even be seen by people. And so I was more limited by this mental fear than I was by my physical limitations. But now, here I am in school, and I'm looking at a career in teaching, and I have a physically intimate relationship with a woman. And so at some point back there, I was able to choose to see these obstacles and barriers as opportunities. The more I saw them like that, the less I would become scared and stop. And I still get scared, and sometimes I do stop, but sometimes I don't stop. And so now that you see how enlightened I am and how that I've arrived, now if you'd like, you could just sit there and worship me for a while.
When I first met Dee, I thought she was going to be like everyone else, just another casual friend. I had no other expectations. I didn't think it was unusual when she called me the first time, or the second or the third time. But pretty soon it became obvious that She was more than just casually interested. Dee has a lot more courage in a lot of ways than I do. A lot of the things that I struggle with are not things I choose to put myself up against. I admire people who put themselves in tough places by choice.
Good job, honey.
It seems that it's okay with her that I'm just a human being who had an accident and is paralyzed. It's really beautiful how gracefully she lets our differences just be.
That was my 40-year-old runner.
At first, I paid a lot more attention to Roger than I usually do when I meet someone, because he was so different from me, and I couldn't assume anything or pretend I knew what was going on with him. When we were first together, it really stood out for me how still he is. I was like a wind-up toy compared to his stillness. Now I'm more used to him. He seems normal to me. At first, what showed up were all the differences between us. And now I see the similarities. There are things he can't do, but there are things I can't do, just like anybody else.
So what are you going to do the rest of the afternoon?
Well, I gotta go back to the school and work for a couple hours. And then we're supposed to meet at your house to work on the ramp. And then after that, I'm gonna go swimming.
I would love to swim. How about if I went with you?
Well, I usually go alone. It's a therapy pool for therapeutic reasons. Besides, I don't think they'd let people like you in there anyway.
Roger, is it that you would be embarrassed?
Well, I am embarrassed. And you're pretty dense if you can't see that I'm 27 years old and I have this crippled up body and I haven't known you very long and I like you. And I'm afraid that when you see me, you may just go away.
You know, I get afraid too. I've been afraid at every step along the way with you. It's just that we get afraid at different times.
Sometimes all this is just an act. Sometimes I just don't want to give people anything. I know they want me to inspire them by my transcending all my difficulties, but sometimes I just don't feel like doing that. We all like to be seen at our best, as if we're like that all the time. And most people get away with it, with hiding that they're weak and limited and vulnerable. My stuff is so obvious, though, that I can't get away with pretending that I don't have it. If I could just take a break from this for just a day, that'd really be something. Or even for an hour.
Hello, Handicap Information Program.
My job here at the Resource Center for Handicapped Students is to introduce new students to the university. I assist handicapped students in getting around the campus. Before I got hurt, I used to be good with my hands and I had a strong body. I played with mechanics and I worked in the woods. I was a tree faller on one crew, and I got to carry 2 chainsaws, one on each shoulder, and I wore my logging boots and carried my lunch bucket and my bottles of gas and oil and my wedges in my back pocket, and I'd trudge through the brush. I liked the romance of working in the Oregon woods. Mostly I liked being with my father-in-law. We'd fall trees together. He'd carry around the gas and oil and wedges, and I'd do all the work. I had a real macho image of myself. I guess every logger does. Every logger has to. I didn't think I needed anybody else. I thought I existed by my own power and by my own strength. Then after the accident, I was able to see just how big of an act this macho image really is.
Whoops. You know, this is a really fine ramp design, if I can just...
This ramp is a project that we've been working on together now for a while. I designed it, and I've been supervising Dee putting it up. And it looks like I'm finally going to be able to get into her house.
Might be a little steep. It's steeper than what I thought.
Dee has been telling me what she meant at lunch today about the things that scare her.
I'll look ugly.
She let me know how afraid she is sometimes of getting older and not being pretty anymore.
And you'll go away.
She told me, too, how hard it was for her. Every time she sees how
I integrate
dependent I am. She said that
things
she
that
is shocked
simple.
sometimes and has to get used to some things.
It's just part of
What was especially hard for her to tell me was that
I'm shocked.
she acted as if things about me didn't bother her, when really they do.
What?
She has her own macho act of pretending to have all these things handled.
What I'm gonna see.
That made me wonder if I was really right about not wanting to go swimming with her. Dee has been with me in such intimate ways, but still there's something different about swimming.
I swim with a life jacket, and I'd sink without it. So the only thing above water is my face. And then my legs just dangle there, and I have to flounder around with my arms.
But the more we talked and the more we understood each other, and she knew what I meant by being afraid, the safer I started to feel. Somehow just telling the truth about it gave us both courage.